All right, everybody, welcome on back and good afternoon to all this Monday, May 4th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Much like Chuck here in the chat board, let's just give me a quick sound check to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. Feels good to be back. Great to see everybody, though. Chuck, Leda, Ken, Cliff, Bonnie, Ralph, Tim, Mark H. Great to see you all here live in our trading room. Of course, streaming across Facebook and YouTube, the likes across social media as well. Great to see everybody. And again, guys, I mean, hey, welcome on back to our afternoon meeting. So, without further ado, I personally like to show the Dow Industrial to begin. I've been doing that of late since we've been streaming. Hey, this morning we saw a big gap down. There was some news over the weekend just in relation to, U.S. imposing more tariffs on China. So we ended up seeing a bit of a drop off going into this morning, at least from the futures market. And, since that time, I mean, we ended up seeing a few stocks rally and squeeze up at the open, but it's been pretty flat since. So you can kind of see that just, based on how tight the Dow has been moving up and down throughout the afternoon, throughout really the entire morning, so to say. We hit the pop at 9:30, like I said. So, guys, what we'll do is just briefly go through a couple of stocks that ended up moving up with the market early. We had one or two others that ran otherwise smaller cap pharma stocks, but, we'll quickly begin building our afternoon list. Hopefully we have a nice afternoon ahead of us, at least. Let's see, from Philip Yu, he says here in the chat board, at least, share your screen. All right, I'm going to do a quick screen share here in the trading room. It should be good, but maybe for one or two students, it might not show. So give me a brief moment. I just took it off for everybody right now, at least in the trading room. So give me a split sec. Then Philip B also wrote here in the chat board, Josh, how do I get your sound out because it is interfering with the webinar of Vantage Point? That's right. All right. So Philip, just make sure that you click the speaker icon on the bottom left of the webinar page to mute this trading room if you're listening in to the Vantage Point webinar. All right. But screen should be good to go, guys, right? Should be on the Dow once again for all of us here in the trading room. YouTube, Facebook, you guys should be good. Bonnie gives me the green light. Good. And Philip as well. Good. All right, cool. So a couple of stocks that ended up moving up with the market early, at least off the pop. NCLH. Got to switch back to pre-market here. Norwegian Cruise Lines ended up making a nice breakout. Actually broke down at first, right at 9:30, broke under an order at $12.40. That was the first big level that we had noticed on Bookmap and on level 3. So it ended up being a head fake, ended up breaking under 12.40, but then it ended up holding it perfectly as support afterwards. And that's the point where we ended up seeing NCLH just take off. So, this was a fantastic move with the market, but it was based off of volume. That 12.40 level was the catalyst, so to say. So NCLH ended up being one of the bigger winners today, going from 12.40 essentially up towards high of the day. You could see essentially 14.50. For the afternoon, it's kind of slowed down a bit. Obviously, a stock that we've been trading mostly on compared to off over the last month and a half. So I have no problem coming back to this and putting this on our list if we don't really have as much else to follow. So for at least right now, we'll kind of keep this on the side. All right, but NCLH was just one of many, right? We ended up seeing CCL, Carnival Cruise Line, same deal, moved up nicely early at the morning, kind of flattened out just recently here. Ended up seeing the airlines for as much as we heard over the weekend, Warren Buffett liquidating everything out of his portfolio, airline related. We ended up seeing the airlines make a nice pop shortly after the open. Ended up squeezing off of 920, 915 is AAL. Ended up moving all the way up towards the high of the day, 1017. UAL, same thing. Ended up moving up pretty nicely. Sharp pop at the open there. So again, a lot of them ended up doing well, at least just from our side list. We had a couple of others that did well also. The INO trade ended up breaking out once again, held support nicely off of 10, then eventually 1075 is a nice middle point here. Held pretty nicely, 1070, 1075 from there, squeezed back up. This was looking pretty strong just a moment ago. I was looking at this for a breakout going into the afternoon. We had resistance on the ask at 1125, also at 1130. So unfortunately held underneath there for the meantime and had pulled back. So the INO trade now at this stage, if it ends up breaking through support at 11, I feel like it might just be on its way back down. So this one we'll come back to also, but not as likely that we're going to put this on our list. All right. Ken says APDN is the afternoon star. So far, maybe. Been pretty slow this afternoon, Ken. But APDN ended up squeezing nicely off the lows, off 9 there so far. We had called that out just a moment ago, too. For what it's worth, APDN was more of a bust after 9:30. Of course, Ken wrote the afternoon star so far. So, it's been doing well so far this afternoon, but had to take a long time for this to end up presenting any sort of buy opportunity. Held support nicely at 950 for a while, but eventually ended up breaking lower. So for right now, the APDN, I actually do like enough to put on our afternoon watch list, Ken. I was going to get to this, but ended up holding support nicely, as you could see off the lows there. And for what it's worth, again, given the pre-market range, the range after 9:30, seeing it drop off just about 2.5, 3 points, it has the ability to make a nice little squeeze up heading into the end of the day. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? The STML trade, just to begin going from top to bottom, guys. Top percent gainer, but unfortunately, this one's a buyout. It's been pretty flat across most of the day. I mean, kind of wiggling up a little bit every now and then, but I'm not as likely to put this on our list. I mean, trading a hell of a lot of shares so far. Normally, when a stock gets bought out, a company gets bought out at a certain price, it pretty much just flattens out or dances around that price for the entire day. So normally, and there might be some wiggle room to pick up a few cents, but more often than not, it's not worth our time. So unfortunately, we ended up seeing that happen. Nice little squeak up so far this afternoon, but at least for right now, we're not going to put this on our list. Jerry, that's a nice compliment there to Ken in our chat board. He says, Ken, you are a star. All right, so we're all stars here. Let's try to be at least going into this afternoon. Not to be a hero, but let's be some stars and make some money. What we'll do is, again, go from top to bottom. MVIS, I guess, number 2. Nice little pop here up to $1. Nice pattern. Higher lows pushing up, back up to resistance off of $1. You would assume 105. 105 also 103,000 share order on the ask. So that seems to be the bigger of the two resistance levels, at least for now. I'm probably going to put this on the list. I'll put this on the side for the meantime. Pretty good chance this will end up making it. All right, IZEA, 2 moves today, pre-market, then after the open, and then it pulled back and ran pretty nicely going into the early afternoon. I'm not as convinced. I don't think this one's going to make a higher high, and if it does, I feel like it's going to be a dud. So for right now, it looks interesting, but I'm going to pass on this IZEA. USEG, pretty choppy there, spotty chart, rather. APDN moving up nicely, 953, 954. So already that one's on our list. That one's going to be near the top. What is this? FRSX. Reminds me of IFRX from Friday and from last week entirely. Ended up seeing this present as a great gap fill opportunity. This one I just wanted to look into briefly, but I mean, look at the volume. It's doing really nothing. You could see on the daily chart what we were looking for at the end of last week, at least. Huge gap to fill here. Looked similar stock. MARK, nice pop earlier. And it's kind of making a higher low. Again, kind of a cheapie. We have a lot of these cheapies near the top of the list. We've had that across like the last week. AHPI, coronavirus related stock. I say that simply just based on what we had back at the end of January, pretty much all throughout February and March, where on and off this stock was making some crazy pops up and down. I think this was also just one of many. I think it was like January 21st or January 26th. 24th, right in the middle. But at the end of January, all of them started moving at the same time. So roughly, around that time, we saw HPI make its run and make its first pop. So, the stock has made some big moves for us in the past. Right now, it also has a big spread to work with. So I don't know if I'm as likely to put this on our watch list. Maybe the APT, though. Not to be confused with APDN. APT, big pop, broke out over 320 or 1320 high of the day. Pulling back, but the spread is a bit tighter. More volume on the order book, it looks like. So this APT, definitely a bit more interesting to me. All right. What else do we have? PYX, former runner in the past. Pop before, pulled back. RVP had a big move earlier today, flattened out though, quick. This stock, very VERI. I like this already. The reason I say that is just from past history. Not as far as like a specific trade from this stock, but if I'm not mistaken, I mean, it's already moved off of $2. But this stock, long while back, I have to go probably back even a little bit more, but this stock used to be like $100 symbol, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, 20 years back, and maybe this is the furthest. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, it was very priced or very expensive here. That's, I guess, what I was thinking back in 2017. I could have sworn it was this stock very, but nonetheless, either way, from 74, $70 all the way down, it's a long ways to move back up. So this stock near the highs of the day going into the end of the day, I'm a big fan of. So we're going to put this definitely on our list. All right, so let's see. Any other stocks like very WTRH had a pop earlier. New highs. It's still going. Wow. All right. Yeah, WTRH for what it's worth. No pun intended. We'll put this on our list. Waiter Holdings, tight spread, very liquid stock on the order book. You could see order on the ask at 170, 25,000 shares. So as of right now, that seems to be big resistance. Give me a quick sec, guys. KLXE, another pop from pre-market. Unfortunately, more of a dud. It did make its move early on, but flattened out pretty quick and dropped off. All right. You still have a bunch left to cut through on the gainers list. This MCF, I mean, I guess if you're able to short it, it's been dropping off pretty nicely. VKTX, familiar name at least for myself, pushing up pretty nicely, or it did earlier, making a higher low as of right now. But the stock, I mean, so far, it seems like this can more so make a pop heading into the end of the day. So tight spread, liquid order book, still trading some volume at this point in the afternoon. So this VKTX, I'll put on our list here. All right. Oh, I skipped over CODX, Codex. Pop just before, I guess. Trying to get back up towards 1550, 1560 high of the day. All right, we'll give this a second shot. CODX here. Made a nice pop and run on Friday, at least. So one of us call out Trill, TRIL, popped and ran earlier. It pulled back since, though. I'll keep this on the side for right now. It is a familiar name. We've done pretty well on the stock Trill in the past, just across the last few months. So if it doesn't run this afternoon, guys, don't be surprised if it ends up making a big move, if not, again, tomorrow, then Wednesday. But, definitely at some point this week, I feel pretty confident that this will end up moving a bit higher. Whoops. Let's see, any others? Could have sworn I saw IMGN. Oh, right here, number 40. Nah, popped and ran earlier, but right now pretty flat too. Looks like it's already made its move. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list. Guys, in the meantime, for all of us across the trading room and again across social media, Facebook and YouTube, if you guys have any picks, any suggestions that you would want me to look at, let me know. And I'll come back at just once I'm done with this losers list here. Bunch of crap hard to borrow, of course, to begin. No stocks down too much to try and bottom fish, really. PBI even is shortable, but kind of flat. It seems like if it could break down below this 280, maybe there could be a move. I'll come back to this just at the very end. PPI. Play Dave and Buster's. Kind of been a sideways move all day. Ended up in this channel between 11 and 1150, essentially. For right now, though, it seems like it's dropping off a bit. A lot of volume filled off the bid at 11.13, 11.10, so forth. You know what? It is a familiar name, Dave & Buster's. We've traded this just over the last month, more on the way down than on the way up. But it was a nice short back then. Hopefully, it could provide as a good short opportunity going into the close. So play will make the list. All right, let's see what else do we have here, guys. Party. I think that we could even trade this F next to it. Gel, I'm not doing too much otherwise. And then, oh, yeah, we got Lyft and the airlines here at least. Good. So Lyft definitely going to put on our list down big at the lows of the day right now. We were calling this out just earlier. Lyft and Uber probably at the same time here. Let's see. Uber, we called out as a bottom off 27, a breakdown opportunity, I should say. Uber holding strong. Wow. Uber's holding that 27 pretty nicely still. All right, so for now, we'll add Lyft to our list. This one's looking pretty strong on the way down. Uber, probably pair up with it. Keep Uber on the side list for the meantime. I want to go back to the others that I already have there, like MVIS, NCLH, etc. We got the airlines too, and then again, we are kind of looking at those. They're flat for the meantime there. AAL 950 support, great setup. It appears to be, but it's been holding over that level all day. So it's kind of like watching the grass grow. 922,000 share order on the ask, or on the bid. All right. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it, guys. I guess we'll go to like UAL, but that'll do. UAL has been squeezing up a little bit. It's a little bit more active compared to American Airlines. We'll check in with Delta, I reckon. Looks like UAL's the quickest of those, or the best mover of them, it appears to be. All right. UAL, we're going to pass on. I want to check in with the others from the side list. And also, guys, let me know if there's anything else you would want me to look at. Uber has earnings this week, I believe. Yeah, Mike, we'll go over all of the earnings, everything, just in our post-market update in the trading room. I finally updated my calendar. So unlike last week, I was a little lazy. I went through yesterday. I have a whole list of everything that we normally call out in trade. It's a big one. We got a lot to cover going into our post-market update here. I mean, I swear to you, there's probably about 40 stocks across the week that I wrote down alone. And you guys have others too, perhaps. But at least from just, those that we've traded out, we have a lot to focus on. Let's see, MVIS, couple profits coming in from Ken and Jerry. Yep, it's pushing up over $1. Looking pretty good, at least for now. All right, so MVIS we'll put on our list. 105, big iceberg order we were focused on just before. From Chuck, STNG, it's a tanker stock moving off 23. It's the highs of the day. It's up 11.5%, Chuck. I do like that. Why not? We'll put this on our list. Let's see what else. So if that's a tanker stock moving up, how about NAT? NAT is moving up pretty nicely. Great side list stock we've been trading. So for right now, STNG looking pretty strong, just at the highs right now going into the end of the day. Just keep a good eye on NAT also. Maybe TNK as well, another tanker. Yeah, TNK also. So I'm going to pair up STNG and TNK there, Chuck. Good call. From David Carr, CAR. Not down a whole lot, so it didn't make the losers at the time I was scanning it, but it's dropping off pretty nicely. Nice tradable stock. So if you did well on it earlier, wouldn't be a bad idea to focus on it going for the afternoon. Hertz, kind of slow, but cheap stock. Again, I'd say the same thing with Car. Was that Avis there? Car. Yeah. So same thing with Avis there, Mike. Tradable stock. If you did well on Hertz earlier, then perhaps you focus on it going into the close. But we already have a pretty good list of volatile stocks making some pretty strong moves up or down heading into the end of the day. So I want to go back to maybe a couple of the others I wrote down otherwise, but I doubt I'm going to put those on our list here too. NCLH. Just, yeah, I mean, again, tradable, moving pretty nicely off of 1385, I reckon that is, as support. Pushing up pretty well. So NCLH, again, tradable stock. I'd say the same thing before. Might be one I personally will be following myself, but given a lot that we have on our list going into the afternoon, hey, if you did well on NCLH earlier, wouldn't be a bad idea to keep a smaller eye on it. INO, same thing. Again, if it ends up making a move up towards that 1125, 1130 level, that could be a pretty good setup. PBI, again, off 280, potential short setup. I'd say the same thing. And then the last one I think was Uber, off 27. So a lot of good setups out there, guys, heading into the end of the day. So far, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 stocks to work with going into the close. And that's just, before all the other ones that we've just called out here. PYX from Chuck. I think we covered that on the gainer side, but it is popping right now. So good call by Chuck off the pop. Yeah, I'm going to put this on our list, Chuck, not as much for the pop. I mean, yes, for the pop, but it has that type of range that Very also has, dropped off extensively over a period of time here. So, it can make a pretty explosive move heading into the close. So, this PYX I will put on our list. Alrighty, guys. So I think that we have a good one already, a big one going into the afternoon. Hopefully, we have a pretty strong close with a lot of these. We don't need a lot, but we just need at least one. So we'll focus on this list to begin, guys. Start just with a couple within your skill range, within your comfortability range. Mark out your support resistance. Then from there, if any of these moves end up happening to where they end up making a big break above resistance, big break below support, at that point, we'll look to try and trade it. But for right now, sit on your hands, just focus and wait for the move to come to you. All right. So for right now, I'll post and tweet the picks. And again, for all of us across social media, Facebook and YouTube alike, if you'd like to learn more about what we offer here at Cyber Trading University, the online trading room here, alongside that, our online classroom, make sure that you guys call the phone number listed below, and one of our advisors will look to pick up and provide more information. All right, guys, aside from that, for all of our students here in our trading room, well, we'll look to make some money here heading into the end of this Monday. Take care.